Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. So I had kind of a light day today. Enjoyed quite a bit of flight simming with Jimmy Crack Corn, and I did care. It was an awesome time. So I did care. I posted a video earlier, and in full transparency, I cheated a little bit to get up on that helipad. When I say I cheated, all I did was I went into weather and I changed the wind direction and wind speed, and I gave myself a nice healthy 28, knot wind speed so that I could pretty much fly backwards if I needed to. So I cheated a little bit with the wind speed and wind direction to set myself up for the good flight. Tried numerous attempts before that without changing the weather. Tried 4 or 5 different aircraft, I think, and I just couldn't stick that landing for nothing. So I cheated a little bit, changed up the winds, and just set it right down on there. It's easy when you set the winds up like that. It is easy. Anyway, so that was quite fun. I took that little video. I didn't think to take video of getting up on it. Hang on. Of course, with how many times that, I was unsuccessful at that, I wouldn't have known that was the time I was going to get it for sure. So, but, that was only, I think, my second try after I changed the wind speed. Anyway. Yeah, so the name of the show is the Not Being Led Around by the Nose News Network. The reason I titled it that is because just as I had guessed, it's not much of a guess. Everybody's going on and on and on about the bankpocalypse that's going on right now. Now, is there something going on with banks? Oh, hell yeah, there's something going on with banks. Is it the bankpocalypse? I don't think so. Is this mass media giving alternative media something to spin up about so that people can make content and, I don't know, grift away? Yeah, probably so. It's insane. It is. Just look out there and see the reports that are going out. And if you can't tell, I've caught on. And I'm completely not on board anymore. I don't care if CNN has live video of a UFO sucking Biden's brains out. Please. Probably that's more of a too late, but I wouldn't believe anything at this point that comes from any news source, as far as anything from a mainstream news source, and we should have known for quite a while not to pay attention to that. But any of the alternative news, or whatever you want to call it, because they're ones that cover it the most aren't even news. They're going to have you whipped up all, but, I'm telling you, everybody today, oh, the world's coming to an end. I'm looking at full spectrum survivals, that it's right in front of my face there. There is no turning back. Every day we're going to die, according to that dude. Every single day. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not on board anymore. Not on board. I'm going to do news, but I'm not going to sit there and let them lead me around by the nose. Unfortunately, as a result of that, I have got all of 3 tabs open to speak to you about. And, I'm going to tell you all the banking news from the headlines when I read the headlines later. But during these 3 tabs, we won't be discussing the banking crap because that's exactly what they want us to be discussing. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not on board. Not on board. I don't know what else to do. My intent, my concern is not only the boy who cried wolf problem, but the amount of embellishing and making up and all this other crap that these channels are doing to bring you the, the more because it's about the more devastating. I was just watching Tim Pool just now. Let me tell you just how fucked up, pardon the language, people's mindsets are at this point in time. Now we're talking Tim Pool. We're not talking Steve Bannon. We're not talking, you know what I mean? We're not talking Mr. Ultra Conservative, nothing like, we're talking Tim Pool. And he had asked in a poll to the, to the audience, how many people would support a mandatory 2-month, kind of like a basic training for people. When they turn 18 years old, I guess I'm assuming something like, say, they get out of high school, they go spend mandatory 2 weeks with essentially basic training. So not necessarily like on a military level, but, some PT, this, that, and the other thing. There's 70-something% of the people said yeah. Do you know how bad that is? That's bad. That's bad. And I've long said that they will have the people begging for communism and socialism. And that is exactly where they've got red team. Begging them for communism and socialism. And it's red team, folks. It's red team that's begging for it the most. Blue team says that that's what they want. But, they don't even know what gender they are. You think they're really going to be able to institute anything? No. That's why they know that they need to sell it to red team. So how do you sell it to red team, the idea of communism? Well, you just tell them that everybody else is trying to take everything they have. And that somehow they're going to be able to take everything that they have by making a decent wage. Or by having proper health care. Or maybe not having to go into a lifetime of debt because they go to college. All of these things, the only difference between the capitalism and the communism is who it is that's in control of the organizations, whatever you want to call it. I'm talking about the school, education, the schools, all that stuff. The only difference is, right now, is capitalism it's owned by private individuals, and in socialism it would be owned by the government. But the exact same act is happening right now, and I'm not talking about the bank bailout with what some people want to call a loan debt forgiveness, which it's not. It was a bank bailout. Debt forgiveness means the debt is forgiven. Okay? That means whoever it is, the end user, whoever it is that loaned the money, debt forgiveness is when they no longer require payment for that debt. That is debt forgiveness. When the government uses tax dollars to pay off the notes, that's a bailout. Big difference. But see, they sold that to a lot of people too, didn't they? That's why I beg people to pull away from this red team, blue team crap. Because it makes people stupid. Completely, utterly stupid. They will demand the worst for their fellow men and fellow countrymen and women. As long as they think that there's a chance that anything that those other people could do might take from them. That's all they got to do. All they got to do. Red team, the cheerleaders of red team, the Congress, that's all they got to do. It's worked for decades. Right? Oh, they're going to take your jobs. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. So all they did was switch the motive behind using that excuse. Now all of a sudden it is, you got red team out there saying, well, we support people going out and working hard for their money, and that's how I did it, and I paid for my way through school, and I bought my house, and I paid it off, and I bought 3 cars and my boat. In a much different nation than what we sit today. Much different nation. Completely. Across the spectrum from where we sit today. But these people are telling the youngsters, that's how you gotta do it. You pull yourself up. There ain't no fucking bootstraps. And red team won't listen. Because they don't give a flying fuck about anybody but keeping what they have. They don't give a damn if the whole fucking country burns. Long as they get to keep that fucking boat, that fucking truck, they don't care. Now you don't have to pick one. That's the other thing. You don't have to pick one. I'm not picking blue team. I don't pick any of them. They're cults, man. They absolutely destroy every bit of common sense you could ever have. That is how bad the political parties are. There's no way anybody that sits back and looks at this from the outside looking in without getting all up in the emotions of one side or the other. There's no way somebody in their right mind wouldn't look at this and say, that is the stupidest shit. Red team bragging about how great the country was. Don't realize that at least some of their friends were selling this nation out. That's how they've got where they are. And then they want to hold that up as a victory flag to folks today that can't even pay their fucking rent working 3 part-time jobs. I don't know what got me on this rant. I really don't. I really don't. I guess it's the fact that, pardon me, that I said in that video the other day, I'm tired. I'm tired of being held down on the same part of the fucking learning curve because people that either don't want to think or don't want to get off their ass don't want to move forward. And it's incredibly big amount of bullshit to ask us and keep asking us, to keep reliving us. And in this particular instance, every 4 years. Oh, we gotta arrest this guy and everything gonna get better. Pinball today, ragging all over Biden, how Trump was so great. What about the red flag laws, Pinball? I tell you what, that's somebody that heavily supports communism. Government control over every little aspect of somebody's life, that is communism/socialism. Okay? When you want to dictate what it is that other people can eat, when you want to dictate how much it is other people can make, when you expect people to be saddled down into servitude, indentured servitude essentially, for the education that they receive to do the job that they do, while trying to juggle everything else to have a car, a home, money to take care of kids. People like pinball don't think others should be able to do that. Not unless you're doing their exact, they have an exact path for you. They all do. They've all got their own individual exact little path that you have to follow. And if you don't follow like that, well, you fucked it up. You fucked it up. What do you mean? Now you can't buy a house. Now you can't do that. You fucked it up. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And we can't move forward in this country until we can get past this part of the learning curve. And I know of us being stuck in this fucker since the 80s. I kind of want to move forward. Pinball, is that okay? We move forward? Or should we just bitch and cry about the other side and beg other people to do it all for us? Because I don't know. No, they can't. And by the way, I'm asking you if you're serious with that about enjoying to pay $12 for a Big Mac. And I've got thoughts about that a lot of people don't like. No, I don't think they can afford a house making $15 an hour at all. I don't think at all. And in fact, I think that a lot of that needs to be changed. A lot of times when you bring up that discussion, say, okay, let's talk about a fast food worker making $15 an hour. A lot of people will say, well, that's almost as much as this person, or that's more money than this person makes, or we need to stop letting them lead us. This is part of being led around by the nose. We have to stop letting us lead, us letting them lead us into those arguments. It's not a what if or if. No. Everybody should be doing better than they are. This isn't just about, okay, we're going to boost up the entry-level jobs and everybody else has got to stay where they're at. No, everybody's getting screwed. Everybody. If let's say I was gonna buy a motorcycle, and I hate using this because I hate the company I have to mention with I'm not a fan. I know a lot of people, especially Americans, are. I am not. Again, it's not about the emotion of it. It's not about the sound of it. It's not about how it makes my balls feel when it runs. It's about the fucking thing being broken down more than it's being driven. That's what it's about. And I'm talking motorcycles. So let me ask you this. What would be more expensive? A Yamaha 1000cc motorcycle? I don't know, whatever flavor, you know. Or a Harley Davidson 1000cc motorcycle, both the same size. Which one would cost me more? And why? The Harley Davidson would cost more. The reason why it would cost more is because them employees are not making $15 an hour. One of the biggest pieces of shit on the road with one of the highest price tags. So for me, the $15 an hour, the $12 Big Mac, that argument don't work. Because to be real honest, you should have to pay $12 for a Big Mac meal. Maybe we could do something about the obesity problem in the nation. Maybe. We as a society in this country have become so accustomed to things being done for us. We got so accustomed to it that now there's many people that expect people to do things that's not even within their capability of doing. And there's not a whole lot of assholes like me that'd just sit there and tell the truth, because too many people are trying to, one way or another, benefit from their experiences with other people. Look, I'm trying to bring you something. I'm not asking for anything. I'm trying to bring you something. I'm not trying to bring you here so that I get enough video views, whatever, all that, for a bunch of money on YouTube, which, by the way, we are on the way to making bank. We are definitely on the way to making bank here at the Watchman News. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We are definitely making bank up in here. Remember? It wasn't but what? 4 weeks ago, I said we had half a cent. We are up to the full cent now. We are up to the full cent. And if I keep at it really hard, and I push, and I shove, maybe within 10 years, I can be 50 cent. Maybe. If I get real lucky, I might make it to 350, but I don't really see that happening. So 350 is way up there. 350 is like at the top of the tree of 350. So I don't think I'll make it there, but right now we're 1 cent. Anyway. But that's the truth. I started this in 2014, got more serious with it in 2016. That's when more of the daily stuff started. And I didn't do it. I tell you guys the truth all the time. I'm not here. And let me clarify when I say this, because it probably sounds worse than I intended to. I don't intend for it to sound bad. I'm just honest. I don't do this to make friends. I don't do this to make money. I don't do this to gain popularity. I hate fucking public speaking. I hate the public. I'm not a fan of people. Okay? I'm just not a social person. That's what it is. I'm an oddball. I'm an odd duck. I'm not a social person. And I'm the wrong person to put in a social situation because, number one, I don't give a fuck. Number one. And that's probably the worst thing because I don't care what people think of me. Why would I worry about what other people think of me? That's like the argument that people make. Oh, well, you're jealous. I'm jealous? Okay. Of what exactly am I jealous? I don't get jealous over material things. And that may be odd. I don't know. I just don't get jealous over material things. There's actually not very many things that I really, really want. I'm an odd duck. I'm not impressed with money. I'm not impressed with pieces of paper that folks hang on the wall. I'm just not impressed with that kind of stuff. If you want to impress me, show me how good of a human being you are. Show me how good of a person you are. And I don't mean hold up your charity work to me. No, because it probably won't have really good thoughts about that if you do. No. Just be you. I don't know. I don't know. So it doesn't matter. Just be you. But I like I said, I didn't, when I started doing this, it wasn't to build a network of people. That wasn't it. It was God up my ass telling me, you either do this or else. That's why I'm here. I don't like public speaking. I don't like the public. At all. Not even a little bit. I don't do anything. I don't go to town functions. I don't go to they have the county fair here in our town. I don't go to that. I don't do any of it. Why? And I never really did. Why? I'm not interested in that crap. The last thing I want to do is go have my nose up everybody's ass and have their nose up mine. Not interested. I guess here anyway, that makes me a weirdo. Right? Here I'm a big weirdo here. Because I don't want to have my nose up everybody's ass. I don't know. Never made sense to me. Never will make sense to me. And so since you don't let people up your ass, they just make shit up. That's the funny part. Anyway, I don't know where the hell I got on all these rants, but I don't know, maybe it was a long time coming, but we have to do something. There's no easy answers. I mean, that's the long and the short of it. There is no easy answers. There is no one blanket thing can fix it all, because we're far beyond that. We're far beyond that. It is actually going to take a reset of sorts. Not the one that they're planning, but it will actually need a reset. If we ever want to be able to move forward in our standard of living, it's the only way. The amount of credit card debt right now is soaring, highest it's ever been. And those chickens are going to come home to roost. And right now, we are at the very beginning of a downward trend when it comes to jobs. And that's going to continue to snowball on down. I got a little bit concerned when I started seeing the tech industry crumble. But I'm also starting to see entertainment take a huge hit. And they had already had a hell of a haircut for many different reasons. But now it's even hitting another level. now there are a whole lot of people that are getting rid of their streaming accounts, not because of some type of political cancel culture nonsense, but because they can't afford it anymore. Believe it or not, that's a pretty big indicator of where we are, how bad things are as far as on the street, the average everyday American household. And those are the folks that we need to be paying attention to. Because it's when those folks can't keep the lights on, can't feed their kids, can't afford the car that they have to take to work to be able to try to afford the house and the food for the kids. Those chickens are going to come home to roost. And that's not going to be good. Now, everybody else wants to talk about how the banks are failing. I think we'd be better served to talk about how we're failing. Because no matter what happens to the banks aren't going to be there to bail us out. The banks aren't going to be the ones to make sure we're fed, to defend our families. Why the hell are we worried so much about them? Get ready. We've got a hell of a storm coming. But don't let yourself get worked up over every damn news cycle that comes out. Because these news cycles have been coming out like this for a long damn time. I know, I've been covering them. Mainstream has been leading us all, including me, around by the nose so well. And that's why I'm saying I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'll be here. I'm going to do the news, but I'm not going to let them lead me around by the nose anymore. They're trying to confuse us. They're trying to get us all off balance, off keel. Let the content creators do that to their viewers. I'm not going to do it to you. They can say anything they want to justify their fear-mongering and fear porn. They're doing their viewers a disservice. Unreal. Don't do that. Don't. I see it. Some of the craziest stuff sometimes. I'm an observer. I keep saying it. I'm not a public person. I've always been the guy that kept quiet back in the corner and I just observed. And I have seen the level of dependency that some individuals have gotten with some of these content creators. And this ain't all a negative, some of them are good content creators. But I see a dependency that people build upon. And that's why I weren't against the whole motivational speaking thing. Don't go there. Do yourself a favor and don't go there. Because isn't that kind of an oxymoron? They want to make money, right? So they're going to keep you coming back to them. Okay, so how are you building up your own motivation if you're codependent on somebody you pay money to keep your head in the game? I don't know. Never could figure that one out. Anyway. Sorry, I'm not even, looking over much at the chat. Sorry, guys. Not that I'm intentionally ignoring you or anything. I'm just letting it roll out. I don't know. Sometimes I am just a vessel, I believe. Anyway, I've got 3 tabs open. Let's say we discuss them and do some headline, get the hell out of here, and I've got to go fetch the trash cans because I haven't done it yet. You know, I had all day to do it, but that's okay. It's Jimmy's fault. He kept me flying. No, I just never put my shoes on and went out and got them. So, hey, at least I got out of my pajamas today. I do want a gold star for that. What am I doing? What did I hit? Nothing. I heard a blick, and I didn't know what I blicked, so I don't see anything blicking, so we must be okay. 7.0 Kermadec Islands region. Hang on here. Earthquake. A big earthquake. Earthquake. Right here. The big red thing, if you didn't know, is an earthquake. Or if you're Mike Tyson, what would that be? An earthquake? Something like that? I don't know. But there's an earthquake right here. There's New Zealand. There's the earthquake. Right there. Mike Tyson earthquake. Alright, North Korea fires another warning shot. This came out right before the show started, so yeah, I think we've had an uptick in the earthquakes because of the uptick in the solar activity, so I expected it. I expect it to continue. I expect it to continue to get worse. So as we go further into the solar cycle. And volcanoes will probably start popping off too. I'm just waiting until they swing back around and pick my ass up. I'm just hoping. Let's see. Bastard E.T. told me he was just going to run to the store and get a pack of Reese's Pieces, right? Fully trusted the little brown bastard. Gave him money, left, never came back. Finally, one day I get an email. Bastard's all the way back home. Still owes me $1.25 for the frickin' Reese's Pieces. Bastard. Come back down here. I'll have them put you in some kind of big bubble thing or something. Whatever that was in the movie. Okay, let's see some news. North Korea fires another warning shot. North Korean military fired another ballistic missile into the sea towards Japan on Thursday, officials in Seoul said. The third launch in 5 days came as South Korea continued joint military exercises with the U.S. and just hours before the South Korean president took off for Tokyo. The Japanese Defense Ministry said the missile was fired from the west coast of DPRK on Thursday morning and was expected to splash into the sea about 550 kilometers off the east coast, well outside the exclusive economic zone claimed by Japan. The South Korean military did not offer any details about the launch. Pyongyang has yet to issue an official comment. The North Korean state news agency said that Tuesday's launch featured 2 tactical ballistic missiles, which were fired from the South Hwanghae province and struck the targets on an island in North Hanyang province, located 611.4 kilometers away. Sunday's test involved the launch of 2 strategic cruise missiles from a submarine in Kyongpo Bay, which precisely struck their target in the East Sea, known in English as Sea of Japan, after a trajectory of 1,500 kilometers. Pyongyang said the submarine launch was specifically intended as a demonstration of deterrence against the U.S.-South Korean war games that began Monday. And then it goes in about the war games and blah, blah, blah. So, does this really concern me? No. Nah. North Korea is the one that I worry about just reaching out and poking us in the eye. You know, nobody expecting it kind of thing. Or not really expecting it kind of thing. But I don't think that right now they're in, that Kim Jong-un is really in that frame of mind at this point in time. I think the guy is more sane than what a lot of people think. And he knows what will happen. If he does the slightest, don't get me wrong when I say he knows what will happen. I'm not puffing my chest out because that would be one hell of a nasty conflict. Man. Might even put Vietnam to shame. I've heard people say it would undoubtedly put Vietnam to shame. I don't like puffing my chest out with stuff like that. Because those are people's kids on those battlefields. I'm not that worried right now about North Korea. I'm more than any government. I'm worried about our own government more than what I am anybody else. I'm worried about our own government than I am China or Russia or North Korea or Iran. I don't think Putin wants to do me in. I think Putin wants to be left alone. I don't think Putin wants to bother me. I don't think that Xi Jinping wants to bother me. I don't even think that Kim Jong-un wants to bother me. We sit there and we go around the world and we provoke shit with countries and then act like we're the victim. Huh. What a concept. Not like we've got a large part of society doing the same. Yeah. That is where we get our leaders from. So, China announces naval drills with Russia and Iran. Russia, China, and Iran are holding a 5-day maritime exercise seeking to bolster their naval security, Beijing's defense ministry announced on Wednesday. The ministry said the three-nation security bond 2023 war games in the Gulf of Oman run from March 15th through the 19th, and that several unspecified countries will also be joining. This exercise will help deepen the practical cooperation between the navies of the participating countries, further demonstrate the willingness and ability to jointly maintain maritime security, the ministry stated, adding that it will inject positive energy into regional peace and stability. China's guided missile destroyer Nanning will be taking part, the ministry said, noting that Security Bond 2023 will build on the drills held by China, Russia, and Iran in 2019 and 2022. So, and I'm sure our government's going to act like, ooh, this is provocation, even though we're doing it all the time. That's why I'm saying that. I'll continue to say, folks, we really do need to get ready. Because we are being sold out in so many ways. And the way it's going to work is all the rats are going to sit there and collect as much as they can. And right before things turn south, they're going to disappear. In fact, I would say that some are already starting to disappear. Just starting to kind of disappear. And they're going to leave us the bag with nothing. You watch. There's a lot of major corporations involved with things like the retail market. Lots of companies involved with that. By the time that a product gets from somebody's mind into somebody's cart at the store, there are a lot of different parts to make that happen. And if you severely disrupt any one of those parts, well, you've just completely stalled that system. We'll call it a system. Imagine having everything stalled at one time, because that is the reality of what we're looking at. Again, no need to sit here and talk about what's going on with the banks. And we don't even need to talk about what's going on with military conflicts. That's kind of what's blowing my mind, and maybe it's part of the frustration too that I have with prepping channels. Because right now is when they need to be teaching folks prepping, and I know there's only so many ways to start a fire. I know there's only so many this, that, and the other thing. Hey, I thought they were there for the people. I don't know. Make sure you're getting ready. Because the only one that's going to bail you out is you. And it don't matter on a whole lot of this stuff that's gone on in the world. It doesn't matter one way or another what happens. You're going to need to respond to it either way. I have a feeling it is going to get sticky. But I'm not saying it's going to be sticky tomorrow. Not saying next month, next year, next decade. Pretty sure it's going to be before next decade. I'm not real hopeful about next year. But I've been saying that for about the last 3 years or so. And we're still slowly rolling into the SHTF. I mean, it's feels grueling to me. I don't know about any. I just, I'm at that point in life. Let's just get the dance started and get it over with. But anyway, Pentagon calls Moscow over drone incident. Ooh. By the way, like I've said before, I do not think that they came in contact with that drone. Because that's simply not something the pilot of a manned aircraft is going to do. Not at those speeds. Not those kind of air. No. Nope. A U.S. Defense Secretary, I don't know why I went to repeat that. Lloyd Austin reached out to his Russian counterpart, Sergei Shoigu, on Wednesday for the first time in months to discuss the incident in which an American spy drone went down in the Black Sea waters off Crimea. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, Shoigu told Austin that the incident was caused by the Americans violating the airspace restriction declared by Russia with all the proper international notifications in place. Shoigu called U.S. drone flights off the Russian coast provocative in nature and risked an escalation of tensions in the Black Sea. While Russia does not desire such a development, it will continue to respond proportionately to all provocations, Shoigu said. He added that the two nuclear powers must act as responsibly as possible, which includes keeping a military channel open to discuss any crisis. Speaking at a Pentagon press briefing, Austin confirmed that he made the call and said it was important that great powers be models of transparency and communication. However, he insisted the U.S. would continue to fly and to operate whenever international law allows, wherever international law allows. Last time that Shoigu and Austin spoke was in October of 2022. According to the AP, the top military officers also had a phone call about the matter with U.S. General Mark Milley, the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, reaching out to his Russian counterpart, General Valery Gerasimov. On Tuesday, U.S. European Command claimed that two Russian Su-27 jets conducted an unsafe and unprofessional intercept of an MQ-9 Reaper drone, which was conducting an intelligence, reconnaissance, and surveillance mission in international waters over the Black Sea. You know, actually, if there are any pilots, if there is any pilot's crazy enough to actually do that, to make contact with another aircraft, it would probably be the Russians. Man, I'm telling you, they're awesome people. Awesome people. Folks that come from over in that region, I don't know, every one of them I've met has been an incredible person. So, hardworking, just great people, fun-loving, not afraid of nothing. I mean, to their own detriment, they're not afraid of nothing. Let's see. I got another thing that came out. Coca-Cola chemical leak prompts evacuation. Oh, no. Oh, my. I wonder how many prepper channels are going to come out talking about, oh my God, it's another conspiracy, they're taking out the Coke. You know how it goes. Coca-Cola chemical leak prompts evacuation. Ammonia escaping from a 20,000-gallon container stoked concerns of wider contamination. And you know the deal, if it bleeds, it leads, right? So you're going to see tons of people jumping onto this, and, you know, even though that it didn't really bleed too much, people are still going to jump on it and try to bleed it out for all it's worth. Oh my God, it's another food processing plant. Right? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The only thing I know to do is just call their asses out and mock them and make them look like idiots. That's all I know to do. All I know to do. All they want to do is have people so worked up. The Game Boy Pilot, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. All right. I got some headlines, and then I got a pillow in there. So, another state may cut ties with Taiwan. Okay. Russia blasts Canada over regime change. Pfizer wants EU to keep paying for unused COVID jabs, says Financial Times. Well, I'm sure Pfizer does. A Russian tourist surge boosts Thai economy, says media. Thought the heater was kicking on. I heard it pop just a second ago. Hey, we haven't had no heat on for like quite a while. It's been hours. It got kind of toasty in here. So I shut the diesel heater off earlier, and haven't turned it back on or anything. But it's getting pretty close to needing it. Let's see. Pardon me, man. Russian tourist surge boosts Thai economy, says media. I'm not sure if I said that one. Pension funds lose millions in SVB fiasco, says media. Ukraine holding religious freedom hostage, says Moscow. Seymour Hersh shares concerns about what U.S. could do next in Ukraine. Let's see. The timeline revealed for full overhaul of German army. Germany facing LNG shortage, says an official. Gee, I don't know why. Saudi Arabia threatens oil embargo in event of price cap. And why do they need LNG? Wasn't we getting mocked, I don't know, about 6 years or something ago? Weren't we getting mocked because of how much renewable energy Germany had, and just how much the country that they were running off of solar, and just on and on and on. But now they can't produce their own energy, huh? Saudi Arabia, and you guys know me, I'm all about renewable energy. I am all about solar and all about... But it can only be used where it makes sense. Trying to power a nation is not how it makes sense. Let's see. Saudi Arabia threatens oil embargo in event of price cap. 2 people infected with anthrax in Russia. China announces naval drills with Russia and Iran. French inflation hits record high in Euro era. As far as the pilot doing that, no, I don't see a pilot doing that. And I am not positive, but I would say yes. I would say that the drones probably have a 360 camera. I would say that the pilots could probably see anywhere around that aircraft whatsoever. And I wouldn't even doubt that it probably records a 360 video the entire time. So, yeah, I think they likely do have a 360 setup in there. I could be wrong, but I would imagine those guys and gals, I would imagine they wear headsets. I don't think they're sitting in front of monitors. I know that we often see, video footage of them sitting there in a Connex container and all of that, which they do. But we always see them, at least I always see them sitting in front of multiple computer screens, and I'm sure they got that. But when they're behind the stick of that aircraft, I guarantee you they've got a headset on. Guaranteed. Let's see. China. Oh, actually, I covered that one. French inflation hits record high. Oh, I covered that one. All right, well, I said that one. Russia may tear up tax treaties with unfriendly states. Tax hike prompts nationwide strikes. Major strike hits Russia's Amazon. AUKUS deal worst in all history, says former Australian PM. EU states seek to slash Russia's oil revenue, says Bloomberg. Pope Francis weighs in on religious crackdown in Ukraine. U.S. banking crisis poses global threat, former Treasury official tells RT. Poland announces timeline for transfer of fighter jets to Ukraine. Queen guitarist receives knighthood. Does that even mean anything at this point? Ukraine apparently replaced. Yeah, it means you've got a lot of money. That's what getting knighthood means, is that you've got a lot of money. Oh, yeah, no, I don't think that would work out very well. Using the pedo tube, yeah, because that's there ain't much to that. Just a little bitty thin tube. No, I don't think that they hit it. I really don't. I think what they did is I think they outflew the little bitty Game Boy pilot, and I think they simply outflew the Game Boy pilot. And I think the Game Boy pilot flat spinned into the water, and that was the end of that. That's what I think happened. I think they got them to wrap themselves up in that aircraft and just put it down in the water. Those drones aren't fighters. They're maneuverable, but they're not that maneuverable. They're maneuverable, but you can't really play with them. You know, you just fly them. Not like you're gonna go do bush flying with a drone or something. They don't really fly like that. Let's see. Ukraine apparently replaced in joint FIFA World Cup bid. I don't think so. Well, to damage the prop, yeah, of course. But to what extent? And then here's another question. You know, I doubt it would be enough to flat bust the prop to make the prop unusable. Now, could you damage it enough to cause a lot of vibration? Oh, yeah, I would imagine so. But how likely is that Game Boy pilot even going to know that the prop was damaged unless it was severely damaged? Because they're not in the aircraft to feel the vibration. So, and I know they could have knock sensors and all that good stuff, but right. And that's just it. When you're talking those types of fighter jets that can literally do ballerina stuff in the air, yeah, it wouldn't take much to get that little drone pilot wrapped up in themselves and flat spun right into the sea. I guarantee that's what happened. Because you can't do that. Once you start to get around the low end of the envelope with one of those drones, there's nothing there. You don't have any surface area. I mean, you don't have nothing there, and when you do the stupid in a drone, they're not forgiving. I mean, you're pretty screwed unless you got plenty of altitude to play with. Oh. What was I heard about the Comanches or whatever? I don't want to say they got a bad name, but people say that because the really really poor glide ratio. I'm talking about the Piper. I think it was the Comanches. You lose an engine on one, you better be set up for a runway. Anyway, former Pakistani PM alleges assassination plot. Credit Suisse shares plunge. Veteran U.S. Senator urges downing of Russian warplanes. Facebook blocks RT Arabic. Italy warns of escalation after U.S. drone crash. European bank stocks sink on U.S. contagion fears. Yeah, it is. I think me and Jimmy Crack Corn was flying in the simulator earlier, and we were playing around with Cubs near the hotel in Dubai and stuff. But then we got into F-22s, and we were out on the West Coast in F-22s, and he got a good feel for what that F-22 in the sim is like, and it's just stupid what you can do with those aircraft. It is absolutely stupid. Let's see. Dow drops as banking crisis deepens. Da Vinci was the son of Caucasus or whatever slave, says an expert. Caucasus? It's not Caucasian. What the hell is that? Caucasus? Hell, I don't know. Zelensky vows to reinforce defense of key Donbass city. UK court sides with Ukraine over bond default battle with Russia. Drone incident confirms U.S. involvement in Ukraine conflict, says Russia. Oh, Metallica buys vinyl factory. So now they bought the factory to press their own records. How nice. And let me guess, next thing you know, they won't be putting out any digital music. You'll have to get it on a record. That'd be James's fight against piracy. Let's see. Ukraine wants to legalize controversial hacker brigade. China comments on Ukrainian theory of Nord Stream sabotage. Or sabotage. I need to remember to say it that way every time. Sabotage. I'm sure that really gets under some people's skin. Pentagon calls Moscow over drone incident. NATO hopeful says Ankara ready to fulfill promise. Anytime they want to bend over. North Korea fires another warning shot. Oh, I covered that one. We talked about this. Coca-Cola chemical leak prompting an evacuation. Oh no, not another food processing plant. We're all gonna die. Okay, we're better. Don't let the channels jerk you around, folks. We're in a lot of deep doo-doo. Make no mistake. We need to be prepared. Make no mistake. But what we don't need to be is spun up in our emotions day in and day out by people that are only interested in profiting from doing that to you. It's not very nice. Not very cool. Not when you just really kind of look at it for what it is. I don't know. Like I said, I've been in a number of channels to where I have seen the idolatry. I've seen the dependency. It's not good. It's not healthy. There's not a whole lot of them that speak on it, that will kind of call it out. Bear do it once in a great while. But, don't do that. Don't do it to me. Don't do that to anyone. We're all equal on this planet. Every single last one of us. And just because there's some people that can do things that I can't do, just because I can do things that other people can't do, doesn't mean any one of us is above the other. We got a hell of a hard time headed our way. And I still say what I've been saying for years now, that you need to probably be a little more aware of the relationships you're going to need after the big event. In other words, I talk about those people that are the most important to you. And I'm not talking about your loved ones, your family members, whether it be immediate or extended. I'm talking about everybody that's in walking distance from you. Because those are the people that's most important. The people that are in walking distance. It's not a concept we think about much today because we don't need to. But it used to be a concept that really altered the way people lived. Keep getting ready. Don't let these channels keep you spun up. Don't fear. Just keep getting ready. There's nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. A bunch of stuff to kick the ass of. Nothing to fear. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow to wrap up the week. And I hope you all have a good evening. Hope to see you tomorrow night. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.